Yo, what up? You know what it is. It's your boy AJ Francis reporting to you live from New York City, the birthplace of hip-hop. And I'm telling you that I'm only tuned in with True Heel Heat Wrestling. Holla at me.
Oye, te habla tío Sabio Vega. This is Sabio Vega and you watching True Heel Hit a mi manera o para la calle.
Rob Van Dam, listen to True Hill Heat. Pow.
Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. We are live on the True Hill Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Romeo's Twitter for our NJPW Royal Quest 2024 or Royal Quest 4 preview, breaking down the card, coming to you from London, England this Sunday evening for us, or afternoon for us in the UK, but early morning into the afternoon for all of you in the United States. And of course, to talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling, I am joined by my esteemed colleague, the MC, the Master of Ceremonies for here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel when it comes to all things New Japan Pro Wrestling. It is your boy, J-News. How are you feeling?
Doing all right, man. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Somewhere around the world, we're all here, gathered here today, Friday, wherever it's at, talking that New Japan goodness as we do. Royal Quest 4. We got some things going on for Royal Quest this weekend. Zachy bringing it home. You know what I'm saying? And he's gonna have his first title defense against my boy. Man, I've been shooting the gym with since day one. SANADA. Looking forward to some other matches here on the card as well. It's always a good time to see the Royal Quest events, even though they're always particularly put up and uploaded on NewJapanWorld.com later than the actual air dates. But we'll all try to enjoy the happenings as they go on via the internets.
But if I'm not mistaken, I checked NJPW World.com following King of Pro Wrestling, which was earlier this week. It's going to be live on NJPW World this time.
Wow. Listen, man. Listen, we working our way on up, man. You know what I'm saying? They moving on up, just like the Jeffersons did way back in the day. So, things are moving in the right direction. So that's a plus. So I'll be able to watch that without problem then. So there's that. And yeah, man, definitely got some things to talk about, some certain matches to see as to where the stories lead towards the end of the year, towards the tournaments that are going to be taking place between Power Struggle, World Tag League, and everything else in between. So yeah, man, let's preview this and break it on down and give the people what they want.
Yes. We appreciate y'all if you're joining us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember to show your appreciation back the simplest way possible. Drop the thumbs up on this video. You can share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. If you're watching us over on Facebook, drop a like on the True Hill Heat Facebook page so you can always see when we go live over here. We got pretty much up to about like 5 to 7 days of content every single week here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. This has been a busier week than usual because we had NJPW King of Pro Wrestling on Monday. Check out that review if you haven't already. Also, check out all the great content we got here. We had an interview this week with Sami Callihan of TNA Wrestling. Shout outs to the Wrestling Observer and Fightful among the outlets that have covered that interview where Sami talked about his contract status with TNA and much, much more, including the WWE NXT relationship. And of course, we got our preview here. And of course, we end off the week on Saturday with the True Hill Heat flagship podcast 299, the penultimate episode before we get to 300 next Saturday. So join us live for that tomorrow at 11:05 a.m. Eastern time over here on the YouTube channel, over here on the Facebook channel, and also Romeo's Twitter page. Hit the heart, retweet the video, help out the algorithm over there. But if you're watching on any of those platforms, sound off in the live chat. Our pay-per-view previews and reviews, we do it for all promotions, WWE, AEW, TNA Wrestling, and of course, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. We are one of the most active YouTube channels when it comes to covering New Japan Pro Wrestling. So we want to hear your thoughts and interact with all of you. Hear your predictions for NJPW Royal Quest 4 from Crystal Palace to answer a question I already see in the chat. And we'll try to highlight as many of your comments as possible. But if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, you can send a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It goes back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here. And we always appreciate that kind of support. And if you can't do it that way, join Dolores, who is one of our great moderators of the channel. Why is she a moderator? Because she is a member of the channel. Hit the join button and become a member for just $1 a month. Or you can follow Dolores over to the Patreon page, where it's the best place to support us when we are not live here, and the best place to support the channel to keep it moving. True Hill Heat. Patreon and channel. Best money you will spend. Dolores is damn skippy about that. And we also got I Make Beats, one of our other members in the chat. He says, is this the Crystal Palace show? Yes, it is. I have to go on like a 3-hour journey from where I'm staying to go to Crystal Palace. But I will do that to see some New Japan Pro Wrestling live. Haven't seen New Japan live in quite some time. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be my first live New Japan show since 2022, J-News, when we went to the show in Manhattan. That Halloween show.
The Halloween show? Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I always forget about the in-between shows that we go to, because like, you know, the New Japan Strong shows, we had a couple of conversations in the foyer, the gathering spot there with the man who used to be the president of New Japan Pro Wrestling at that time. So you know, that's definitely a plus, man. People got to make it out to the shows, man. Support the promotions that you like and things of that nature. Make sure you're putting them dollars in those wrestlers' pockets, because without the wrestlers, we ain't got nothing to talk about. So you know, that's where it's at.
I think I'm gonna be getting there an hour before I guess the doors open or showtime. I don't know whether it's gonna be showtime. I think showtime's probably like 4:30 here, 11:30 for y'all on the East Coast. So I'm probably gonna get there like around 3. So hopefully I can do one of the meet and greets. I could just pay on the spot for one of the meet and greets, because I would pay money to go see Zach. Put some money in Zach's pocket and take a picture with Zach. Cool. And I could finally touch the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. That would be nice. We also got in the chat here, I Make Beats, who says there's a new pay-per-view every weekend. Let's go. Yes, the wrestling never stops. I said it at the beginning of October. I was like, October's going to be a busy month of the year, because I thought like September was pretty slow when it came to pay-per-views. Like WWE did no pay-per-views in September. AEW just had All Out, which was at the beginning of the month. So like there was a couple of week segment where we didn't have any pay-per-views over the weekend, but October's hit us big with Bad Blood the first weekend. Then you had Wrestle Dream last weekend, as well as the NJPW King of Pro Wrestling show to start this week. And then you're ending it off with Royal Quest. Next weekend, you got TNA Bound for Glory, as well as NXT Halloween Havoc. So hitting us up with all the shows in October. Never sleeps.
Busy month of October.
We also got Hassan in the chat who says, "Hi there, guys. Good to see you." And we also got Dolores who says, "It's a very busy weekend with TNA, NJPW, GCW, etc. I'm trying to catch sleep. I still have to catch up on last weekend's GCW events. Like I'm so behind on GCW, but I do want to check out Fight Club because of the Art of War games and the heel turn that went down there. I already seen the clip, but I want to see the show. So I got to catch up, Dolores. I got to catch up. But yes, got a lot to discuss when it comes to Royal Quest 2024. What is kind of your anticipation level for this Sunday show from 0 to 10? How much are you looking forward
to? That is a good question, man. It because it's a Royal Quest show, and I haven't over the last couple of years been able to ever really watch it when it airs, and I always watch it later. The anticipation level kind of dims because I always get the results before I even watch the show. So at the end of the day, I'm at a good and strong. I'm a midway there, like about a 6 and whatnot, just because a lot of the show is really to showcase the talent that has either wrestled in the UK before and or is from the UK. So that's always going to be a plus and things of that nature. We'll more than likely, as per every New Japan show, we'll get some storyline beats in between as to what's happening with the wrestlers who are currently in feuds and things of that nature. Definitely hype for Zack Sabre Jr.'s first defense with the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. It should be a dope match between him and SANADA because they don't ever go to sleep on one another. So they have really good chemistry in the ring. So that's going to be a plus. And looking forward to seeing how it all breaks down with Shooter as well, being that Shooter's been getting booed lately, to see as to how the UK fans are going to be responding to the Shooter. So we'll see how that all breaks down. It'll be cool to see Ishii back in a wrestling ring again after, for me at least, he's taken a hiatus since he went off of AEW TV. So it would be cool to see Ishii back in the ring along with Tanahashi and stuff like that. A good solid 6, but I'm sure that the show's going to show out and stuff like that. So definitely looking forward to it. But right now I'm midway there on the hype meter.
I would say because I'm going to be there live, I will probably go as high as a 7.5. This looking at the card and uploading the picture, seeing the card in full, I was like, well, this show is very much dependent on the quality of the main event, in my opinion. Yeah. And I think that we know the guys, Zack Sabre Jr. and SANADA, have regularly delivered over the years, so I have faith in them to deliver a great matchup, especially being in the main event of this show. Zack being back in the UK as IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, he has to kind of up his game. But I was like, other than that, and probably the NJPW Strong Tag Team titles, there's not a lot of like must-watch matchups. There's matches that I believe can exceed expectations, but I wouldn't say that this is like in comparison to last year, which had 2 matches going in, you knew were going to be show stealers or even instant classics, and wound up being that with Shingo versus Ishii and Zack versus Will. You knew those matches would deliver, and that upped the ante on how we viewed that show overall coming out of it. So I think that this one is really dependent on the main event. So I give it a 7.5, may get higher as we talk about this show. And let's get into it. because we got to talk first about the pre-show J-News. As you're going to see, the boys we've been waxing and wondering for a little bit here. We're going to see Youngblood back in action on the NJPW show, as it's going to be Asuka Lobe and Yota Nakashima teaming up to versus this team of Brendan White and Danny Jones. So, I mean, we've been talking about Youngblood and the potential of them potentially coming back to New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I like the fact that they're kind of getting their feet wet. They're getting their feet on the mat as they are about to walk back into the door after their excursion in the UK. You know, you've talked about it before when in the WXW Tag Team Championships, they've become a mainstay tag team in Rev Pro. How much are you looking forward to actually seeing these guys on an NJPW show after their what they've been in the UK for almost a year now, right?
If it's been that long, it hasn't felt that way, to be honest. So I'm not even saying that in a facetious way. I just, time is a construct nowadays out here. So, but I'm looking to see the improvements, man. I'm looking to see the improvements with these young men, to see how they gel as a tag team, to see, if there is a uniqueness to them, right? To their team, if they're an actual team and not just two solo wrestlers put together. You know what I'm saying? Tag team wrestling, you know what I'm saying? So looking forward to see that. And if they're on their way back to New Japan proper, as I like to say, more power to them. And hopefully they are able to impress, because the turnaround time with the last couple of sets of Young Lions has been very quick in comparison to years prior. So, and I understand there's a need for it, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, I just want to see if they're really prepared for being on the main roster and things of that nature. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully good things come for Youngblood, Oscar Loibe, and Yuto Nakashima. Probably of all time, probably my least favorite young lion I've ever seen.
It's only because of the hair. It's only because of the hair.
No, the wrestling style just doesn't fit. It doesn't work for me. It's a lot of different things, man. But he's a dude. He's there. He's gonna make it work. He's gonna make it happen. And we'll see how it boils down. I predict that Youngblood wins their match here, being that they're the New Japan guys on a New Japan show. And just hopefully, my hope is that it goes well and that they're able to impress.
And look who's joining us in the chat. Our third member of the team, Sanal's here in the chat. Good to see you, Sanal. She says, hello, team. Watching from London as I have work. So gutted I can't be there, but SP3, see you on Sunday. Yes, I'm going to be hitting you up, Sanal, as I make my journey. I already hit up Kyrian because I've had two opportunities to see Kyrian in person, and we didn't connect at the last Rev Pro show I went before All In, and then at All In, there was 55,000 people there, so it was a little hard to connect with anyone unless you met them outside the stadium beforehand. So I made sure I hit up Kyrian. I told him I'm going to hit him up when I'm on my way to Crystal Palace so I can meet up with him. I said I'm going to be there around 3 p.m. I know doors open around 4, so I'm going to make sure I hit up Sanal as well. Maybe even NK. NK's been away from the wrestling world. Maybe I could hit him up, and maybe he's going as well, and we could get the band back together. The Ace Techers, the other team that we have outside of True Hill Heat, will be at Royal Quest hopefully. But three out of the 4 ain't that bad either. So definitely going to hit up Sanal. Good to see you in the chat today. Yusuf with a good question. He says, mate, the Super Junior Tag League starts 4 days after Royal Quest. Who are you guys picking to win the tournament? Me and J-News are going to discuss it after we do this preview, when we're going to do our preview for Super Junior Tag League. That will probably be a Patreon exclusive, Yusuf. But I like the teams. That's what I will say. I like the teams that they put together. I like the fact that we got Velocities up in there because they're a team that I know J-News is big into the UK scene, UK wrestling scene, and Velocities is a team that's been making a name for themselves. I like the Jet Setters, the Bullet Club War Dogs, Catch 2 all being in there, involved in the action. The only disappointment I have is that it's Yo and Rocky Romero instead of Leo Rush making the trip.
Yeah. But Leo just signed that new deal, so he's got to stay put for a bit. But just glad that everybody's got work for the Super Junior Tag Tournament, and the finals are probably going to be the finals are going to be a power struggle, right? We'll definitely break it down. Like SP3 said, probably going to be a Patreon episode and things of that nature. Being that the Super Junior Tournament itself isn't necessarily its own thing; it's being combined with other stuff. So. We'll break that on down, and we'll probably give our prediction as to who's going to win. We'll fit it in somewhere in our reviews.
When we do our review for Royal Quest, maybe you'll get the little tipper there. But good point by Alex Powell. He said Ospreay and ZSJ was awesome, as Ospreay's U.S. reign was easily the best run for that title. I either say Kenny's first reign or Ospreay's last reign. The first and the last reign for the U.S. title were the best.
Cannot disagree, because I don't remember anybody else holding that belt. So yeah, that makes sense.
Hey, Cody had it. The American Nightmare, the number one star in the company.
Really?
Yeah, he
Cody
did.
was in there. So was Juice. Juice had it like twice,
Yeah,
right?
Juice had it. Yeah, he had it a few times. And Moxley, can't forget Moxley. Yeah. He had 2 runs as well.
Whatever.
Let's talk about the opening matchup on the main card, as we're going to get a vision into the Super Junior Tag League, as Taji Ishimori will team with X, who will be his tag team partner in the Super Junior Tag League, as they face Joe Lando and Danny Black. I am familiar with Joe Lando from the independent scene, whether it be his performances in GCW. This is going to be my first time seeing him on the UK scene over in London, England, and first time I'm going to be seeing him in person. But I'm looking forward to Taji Ishimori and who his tag team partner is going to be. Who do you think is going to be X? And I think it's obvious Taji Ishimori and X will probably win this one.
Yeah, whoever the Bullet Club team here is going to win the match. As to who's going to be his partner, man, honestly, man, I have no idea. I got no clue. Taiji Ishimori has so many ties to so many different wrestling companies in Japan that he can bring as a tag team partner anybody he really wants to, depending as to how it all shapes up. I can't necessarily think of any New Japan guys who he would team with currently, unless he's turning Taguchi into something. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, Taguchi's already teaming with Dragon Dia.
There's that. Or whatever. Maybe we'll get a Noah product or not necessarily knowing who, but like maybe we got a Noah wrestler in here. I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't call it. I have no feel for it, which is a good thing. I want to be surprised as to who he's going to bring forth in all this stuff. I mean, we might just get the BS surprise and it just be the new version of Bone Soldier. You know what I'm saying? So
they're gonna take the mask off of Bone Soldier, and that's who it's gonna be. Imagine they did some shit like that.
Yeah, man. I have a feeling that might just be the way they go. But we'll see. But definitely the Bullet Club team or Taiji Ishimori's team wins here.
I'm gonna go with someone who has some history with Taiji Ishimori. I'm trying to check Reddit here to see what the Reddit comment section is saying, who they think it's gonna be. But I'm not seeing anything in particular. They said they said that the translation of what he teased was it's a funny guy.
It's a funny guy.
Ooh, so I'm gonna throw out 3 options here.
Sure.
So I'm gonna throw out people that have history with him and people from either from Dragon Gate or Noah. So I'm gonna go ACH.
That'll be a rough one, but okay. That'll be a rough one, but okay.
Why is it a rough one?
Oh man, his stock fell off the freaking cliff for me, but it is what it is. He's still a talented wrestler, so sure. He's done New Japan stuff before, so yeah, yes, why not? Yeah,
exactly. ACH because they won the NTV G Plus Cup Junior Heavyweight Tag League. I'm going to go with High 69, who was a part of Team Japan Noah in the 2017 Lucha Libre World Cup. Okay. And I'm gonna go with someone that who probably is not a junior heavyweight, but I don't know. I just saw it as an option on Reddit, and I was like, you know what, that would be interesting. Shun Skywalker.
Oh God, I want no parts of Shun Skywalker anymore, man. No parts of Shun Skywalker. Yeah. Nah, I don't know. Like I said, I think the Bone Soldier thing, the shtick would work. It would be funny. Like he said, if it's gonna be, the translation was gonna be a funny guy. Maybe it's gonna be the original Bone Soldier, or maybe a new Bone Soldier under the mask, and he gets revealed at whatever, here or at another show, depending as to whatever.
And Skywalker.
Yeah. No, absolutely not. No Shun Skywalker here, but yeah, I don't know, man. But it's gonna be cool. I've never seen any work from the team that Taiji Ishimori is going to be working against. So it's going to be a first time exposure for me on that end. So trying to see as to what the talent is like over there. So yeah, man. We'll see how it all breaks down. But definitely the Bullet Club team for the win here.
Good shot by Yusuf saying Robbie X.
Is Robbie not on the card anywhere else?
Huh?
Is Robbie not on the card anywhere else?
No.
Interesting for him to be left off. Then that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a good shot. That's a good shot, and it would make sense of why he's having the debut here instead of at the start of the tournament, because this is where he would get the biggest reaction. Robbie, exactly. So that's a good shot. Yeah. Oh, I'm hoping now Yusuf is right, but either way, yeah, Bullet Club wins. Then we got a tag team match I'm very interested in, as you have the Red Pro undisputed women's champion from Stardom, Mina Shirakawa, teaming up with Kenji to verse the team of Danny Luna, the woman that Mina beat for the championship, and Stardom standout herself, Azumi. This should be a really good matchup. I like 3 out of the 4 ladies. I'm not too familiar with Kenji. I'm willing to see what she can do with the other talent in the ring, but I know for sure the other 3 women are very talented. And like I said, Mina beat Danny Luna for the Rev Pro Undisputed Women's Championship at the anniversary show during All In Weekend. Azumi has her pass with Mina here. Who do you think is going to come out with the victory?
Kanji's a little rough and tough, man. She be out here decking people in the face. So it's gonna be quite a differentiation in styles, I would say, between Mina and Kanji style. Love me some Azumi. Love me some Danny Luna. Danny Luna's been doing some great work in 2024. So if I want to see any team win, it's going to be the team paired of some of my non-TV wrestling favorites. So that'll be Danny Luna and Azumi. Even though Mina is a champion, so it makes more sense for Mina and her teammate Kanji to take the win. I'm just a bigger fan of Azumi and Danny Luna, and I want to see them do the work and get the win.
Like I said, I'm familiar with 3 out of the 4 ladies, so I would assume that because I'm not too familiar with Kenji, she's the one who's taking the fall. So I'm going to go with Azumi versus Azumi and Danny Luna to pick up the victory, and maybe set up Azumi or Danny Luna to be the next challenger for Mina Shirakawa for the Rev Pro Undisputed British Women's Championship.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is the entire unit, even though in different matches, a part of this show for Royal Quest? Is it Flash Morgan Webster and Andrew? No, they're not on this card. Okay.
They're not on this card. Danny Luna's kind of not been seen with them too much. Yeah. But anyway, talking about a guy who is familiar with undisputed British heavyweight gold, the Triple Crown winner over in Rev Pro, Michael Oku, makes his return in London to New Japan Pro Wrestling competition, and we got a good one here. This is one that I said, like, there's a couple of matches on this card that exceed expectations, and this was one that I was eyeing up as he goes one-on-one with TMDK's Kosei Fujita Fujita made a big challenge following King of Pro Wrestling as he will face Gabe Kidd at the next NJPW Strong show in the United States in Boston for Fighting Spirit Unleashed when he goes one-on-one with Gabe Kidd for the NJPW Strong Openweight Championship. But here he has a test against the former undisputed British heavyweight champion. Who do you think comes out with the victory here?
This is interesting. One, because I have some questions about this match. Not because of the talent in it, more or less because of where I left off with Michael Oku. Like, last I knew, he was leaving Rev Pro and leaving the UK.
That was the whole big talk going into All In, that he was supposed to. He had the big dark match before AEW Dynamite in Cardiff, the go-home show to All In. A lot of people said he would be a part of that show as well as All In. So it made me and a lot of other people, podcasters and reporters and stuff, assume that he was going to be in the Casino Gauntlet at All In, but he didn't show up there. He hasn't showed up in AEW, even on dark matches or Ring of Honor since then. So he's still doing his thing in the UK, it seems.
All right, well enough there, but I don't know. To call the winner for this match, I'm not sure, because with Kosei going into the Super Junior Tag League, it would be a good booking decision to have him go into the Super Junior Tag League with some sort of momentum, getting a win in a singles match or whatever the case is. But Michael Oku, as you said, is the former Rev Pro undisputed heavyweight champion. So it's like the decision here is not as vital, obviously, because it's not a big feud or something like that. But the decision here as to who gets to win has to be a viable one, or how the finish turns out or whatever. So I'm probably gonna ride with Oku here, just for the sense of it all. More experience. He's been an undisputed champion and things of that nature. So it's like, it just makes more sense that a guy who's been a champion beats a guy who's never necessarily been a top champion of something. So I'm gonna go with that. But it should be a banger of a match, though.
Yeah. I think sense-wise, though, it only makes sense for Fujita to win this one, because Fujita is going to need a big singles win before he is the challenger for the NJPW Strong Openweight Championship. He faces Gabe Kidd on November 8th, which is just around the corner. It's just two weeks, basically 2-3 weeks after this show. So I think he needs that win, especially considering the fact you just said he's going to be in the Super Junior Tag League, where I know a lot of people will be rooting for him and Robbie Eagles to kind of join the rest of TMDK who are holding championship gold right now. So I'm going to go with Fujita here.
Fair enough.
Then we have another singles match, J-News, that I'm looking forward to, as you have Los Ingonables de Japón, represented by Yoda Tsuji, going one-on-one with the Bullet Club War Dogs, Drilla Maloney. Tsuji coming off his loss in the three-way for the NJPW World Television Championship. I pinpointed him as a guy that could potentially be in the running to get a shot at the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship, and he's right in line with that as he's facing a member of the Bullet Club War Dogs, Drilla Maloney, who is actually 2-0 against Tsuji during his time in the UK in his excursion. I got to go with Tsuji to get some redemption and finally get a win over Drilla here.
Yeah, this should be a hard-hitting affair for all intents and purposes, but I do expect Big Tsuji to pick up the win here. No disrespect to Drilla Maloney, he'll be quote unquote home, but he'll definitely take the loss, and he'll be looking up at the lights after this, because Big Tsuji is Big Tsuji, man. I don't know what you guys are thinking. Big Tsuji is Big Tsuji, man. ain't no other way about it.
Then we got a matchup, another singles matchup here that can exceed expectations. You got Shota Umino going one-on-one with Callum Newman. These two men have faced on 2 occasions. Back during Shooter's excursion, it was Shooter who picked up the victory over Callum Newman in the UK. Then it was Callum Newman who pulled off the upset over an injured Shooter in the G1 Climax tournament. Of course, Shooter is coming off the heels of getting booed out the building at King of Pro Wrestling. And following this matchup, he will go one-on-one with SANADA at Power Struggle on November 4th, which could potentially become for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. J-News, who do you think wins this one?
I mean, for all intents and purposes, Shooter will win a match. But I want to see if they're going to lean into him getting the boos, right? I think that's important. Because and I think the important part is going to be if the UK reacts the same, if the UK crowd reacts the same way and they boo Shooter, will Shooter lean into it, give us some heelish kind of stuff in the ring, you know, smack Callum around maybe, things of that nature, and we'll go from there. Maybe Shooter starts his own version of the BCC over in New Japan. And
you're seeing the vision now. You're seeing the vision now. Let's go. BCC Japan. Let's go.
BCC Japan. I just don't know who would be the promo guy the entire time. We'll see. We'll see how it all works out. Yeah, look, it's they have a unique opportunity here with Shooter, and if fans follow suit on trend to boo him, seeing if they're going to be able to ride that wave and lean into it, and then go from there. I think that Callum being the guy from the United Empire that hasn't really done much as of yet, right? At the end of the day, puts him in a very unique place and opportunity, because I'm sure that they're going to be able to put on a good match, unless this just turns into a violent affair. You know what I'm saying? So, and Callum's he's actually, I'm not trying to call him this, but it just makes sense to say it. Callum seems to be the best victim for this sort of thing.
This new Shooter before he puts the plastic bag on Tanahashi's head at Wrestle Kingdom. Who would you be in BCC Japan? Me and J-News are booking this. So Gato, I hope you're taking notes. I hope you took notes during our King of Pro Wrestling review and during this preview. But J-News was on to something. I think Youngblood should be the first members of BCC Japan.
Yeah. I think getting them into a place, first of all, new realm. They don't have to join existing factions and stuff like that. They can make this their own thing, type of feel. So I think Youngblood being a part of this would be cool. And Shooter being that guy who's supposed to be the leader of the new generation, in a sense, quote unquote, but hasn't necessarily gotten there yet. That's an interesting vantage point for Shooter. I'm not too sure that this Japanese version of the BCC is going to have a female heater. I
mean, we could call Megan Bain. I'm going to try to book Megan Bain everywhere.
I know you have, man, and she's super talented, but she hasn't been back to Japan lately, so I'm not sure that they'll be doing that per se. It's interesting. They have an opportunity in their hands right now to do something very unique, and with Shooter at least. And if they put Youngblood with them, maybe another person, someone who's been floundering as of late or doesn't necessarily have a direction per se, they can put with them. So they've got some time to come up with something creatively, but I think that this match is like it sparks this whole transition for Shooter. At least it should, in my eyes. So
Great.
Yeah.
Then we got a match that I'm not going to take too much time on. It is the IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion, David Finlay, going one-on-one with Taka Michinoku. This comes off the heels of Tai Chi, a fellow member of Just Five Guys, with Taka Michinoku, who made the challenge to David Finlay for the Global Heavyweight Championship coming up at Power Struggle on November 4th. Taka coming in here for a non-title matchup, but it's Taka Michinoku. He's looking up at the lights, right?
Sure. Yeah. The legend looks up at the lights, but I would surmise that he gives, at least at some point in part of the match, he gives David Finlay a run for his money. Because he is a legend at the end of the day.
He'll make his little comeback. I don't know if I mentioned, but I'm going with Shooter against Callum Newman. And yeah, Finlay, I mean, it's obvious Finlay's going to get the win here. And it's even so obvious that J-News can't argue against it.
I can't argue it, man. I can't argue with this, man. At the end of the day, Taka Michinoku is a legend in Japanese wrestling, but what has he done in New Japan lately? You know what I'm saying? He's a member of Just Five Guys, and he wears a pretty cool trench coat. But outside of that, it's like, what do you want to do? What are we going to do?
Then we got 6-man tag team action, which should be a lot of fun here. As you got Los Ingobernables de Japón, represented by the former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Tetsuya Naito, Hiromu Takahashi, and Titan teaming up to face CMLL's own Mascarada Dorada and TMDK's Robbie Eagles and Ryohei Uyoa. Uyoa had the strong showing against Shingo Takagi of LIJ at King of Pro Wrestling. Of course, you got Naito coming off the heels of losing the title in the main event to Zack Sabre Jr. Hiromu Takahashi has experience against CMLL, picking up the victory over Mystico at King of Pro Wrestling. You got Robbie Eagles making his return to New Japan before the Super Junior Tag League, where he'll team up with Kosei Fujita. So a lot of great talent here. Titan and Mascarada Dorada have been feuding in CMLL. They had a great match just a couple of weeks ago in Arena, Mexico. So a lot of great stuff to see here. I think this is going to be probably the most fun match on this card, but I'm going with LIJ for the win.
Makes the most sense that we get the wrestler who is on the buzz right now in the IWC, all due to a fake ass damn graphic that was put out there for a Dynamite. But it is what it is. Máscara Dorada. The upper 2.0, I think, is what they first labeled him.
Yes, now they're just going with Mascarada Dorada.
Yeah, but he's been amazing since he's come back to CMLL, and obviously Titan being who he is, and we all know his talent because he's been on New Japan streams and shows for years now. Like you said, SP3, I'm with you here because LIJ is always the most united unit. They're the most fluid unit when it comes to these 6-man tag team matches. So TMDK members here are new to each other, that being Oiwa and Robbie Eagles, and throwing in Mascara Dorada here, just kind of like he'll do cool shit like he always does, but he's not necessarily part of the unit. So it's like it just makes more sense as to how it all breaks down with LIJ being the more formidable unit, and Titan always spending time with his LIJ team members, either in Mexico or just traveling to Japan on off time and things of that nature. So I expect if I'm going to give somebody to take the pin here, it's probably going to be Robbie. Being to they've now positioned Oiwa, Mascara Dorada making a return to New Japan, or making his appearance for New Japan here. And New Japan not wanting to soil their relationship with CMLL. They wouldn't want one of CMLL's top stars taking a pin here, so it makes the most sense for Robbie to take the pin into this.
I think New Japan is gonna be like, earn your stripes, little nigga. they're gonna make him take the fall. I'm sorry, Mascarada Dorada fans. I think New Japan. I think I know New Japan too well, and they're gonna be like, hey, little nigga, you gotta earn your stripes here.
We'll see. A lot of people, you know how promoters are, man. Sometimes you gotta make these relationships work. You know what I'm saying? So, it would make the most sense.
And I just had to double check it. Not to interrupt you, but I just had to double check it. But no Titan in the Super Junior Tag League. It's going to be Hiromu.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah. So, if anything, I mean, if they go the other way, Naito just lost the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, so
they're gonna be like, Titan, you're not coming to Japan, so we're gonna beat you. Whoever CMLL's top star, we're beating you on this new Japan show.
But no, I'm with you here. LIJ for the win. For all intents and purposes, just because of how politics work with wrestling promotions, I feel like Robbie taking the pin won't be that bad of a deal. But we'll see how it goes.
That's fair. Alex Balse, and I hope we get Dorada in Japan and see him challenge for the IWGP Junior belt. Him and Doki would mesh very well. We still need to get Doki versus Mystico. We still haven't got that match that they teased back at Fantastica Mania USA.
Yeah, so we still need to get that as well. Yeah, man, he's got that's probably going to be something that Doki should push for, as long as he keeps the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, his matches against the Mexican talent. So I would like to see him against a Máscara Dorada, against a Mystico, against a Teton, and things of that nature. Give me Soberano Jr. for all I care. Give me all of them. Let's see how it all boils down and get it going from there. But yeah, that's where we're at.
For the NJPW Strong Openweight Tag Team Championships, TMDK defend the titles. Mikey Nichols and Shane Hayes defending against Hiroshi Tanahashi and Tomohiro Ishii. It was back at Capital Collision. Ishii and Tanahashi won a three-way matchup against the Grizzled Young Veterans and Bad Dude Tito and Robbie Eagles to earn this opportunity here. TMDK, they earned a victory on that show against Hechicero and Verus of CMLL to defend the Strong Openweight Tag Team titles. They are still the owners of all the tag team gold in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but how New Japan does their thing, the Strong titles are defended in the US and UK, while the IWGP tag team titles are defended in Japan, and they have maintained their grasp on both titles since Dominion. Can that continue here, or Tanahashi, officially on his retirement tour, will start off with a bang, winning some gold towards the end of his career? What do you think, J-News?
For all intents and purposes, TMDK should be retaining their championship gold here. It's just going to be a fun time to see Ishii back. We'll see the classic stylings of Tanahashi for as much as he can do it in a tag match. And TMDK should be carrying the load to victory here in this match.
That's fair. I'm going to go with new champions. Okay. This show needs a big new champion, a big title change for it to be remembered fondly. And I think Tanahashi starts off his retirement tour getting some gold and being the tag team champions with Ishii is probably the safest gold he can win at this point of his career, where Ishii will do all the heavy lifting for him.
We'll see, man. We'll see.
We shall. And then finally, for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, it's going to be Zack Sabre Jr. making his first defense of the gold against his longtime rival, SANADA. These two men faced this year in one-on-one competition in the G1 Climax tournament in one of the more underrated matches of the entire tournament, with Zack picking up the victory. But then it was SANADA who got a bit of vengeance on the road to destruction, pinning Zack Sabre Jr., coming off the heels of winning the entire G1 Climax tournament by pinning him in tag team action. He then challenged Zack to face him in his hometown of London, England, because Zack got the victory in the G1 in SANADA's hometown. So he wants a bit of vengeance by beating Zack in his home country and town, and he's going to try to do that by being the man who dethroned Zack after his dramatic victory in the main event of King of Pro Wrestling, beating Tetsuya Naito, ending his near 20-year journey to win the top prize in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Who do you think comes out with the gold on Sunday night?
A couple of years ago, you probably would have heard me, go on a tangent about how great SANADA is and how much he deserves a win and things of that nature. But in recent times, it's all just boiled down to the fact that it just didn't work out. And that doesn't necessarily mean that
you talking about Wrestling Observer's most overrated of 2023, SANADA?
Something like that. I don't necessarily pay too much attention to the Wrestling Observer, but that is what that is. But I am aware, both self-aware and aware of my surroundings and the world around me, as to how things break down and how things are being seen in the wrestling world. And SANADA, for most people, is not it, and that's fine, and that's okay, and that's okay. I still believe that SANADA is an incredibly talented individual, talented wrestler, and that he deserves a spotlight on the New Japan roster. But in the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship umbrella, I think that time has come and passed at this point. With all that being said, I'm still shooting in the gym with SANADA, and I root for him. But in this particular instance, for this match, Zack gets the win. This should be a tremendous match. We'll see a lot of Tekker stylings for those of us who love it. And then we'll see as to what sort of a pitting predicament or submission that comes out of his freaking ass that Zack Sabre Jr. comes up with to get the win here.
And he gives a weird name too.
Yeah, exactly. And a weird name too. So ZSJ for the win here in this match, so he can have his first defense under his belt. And then the wonderment will start as to where SANADA's career goes from here. So there's that.
Didn't mention the extra caveat in this matchup is that the winner of this matchup will then go on to defend the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship at Power Struggle on November 4th. If SANADA wins, he defends against Shota Umino. If Zack wins, he wins against Shingo Takagi. I think that is Zack. I do agree with you. I got Zack winning this one to get his first defense under his belt. And that means that Shingo will be his first challenger coming up at Power Struggle. Are you surprised by the fact that they did that they made that decision? Because I thought that with the setup that we were going to get, that we got at the end of King of Pro Wrestling with SANADA, with Shooter, with Shingo coming out, that Shingo would probably be the Wrestle Kingdom opponent for Zack. And if he was going to get another defense, maybe he did it against the Shota Umino. But with how things look like it's going to turn out, I think that it's Zack and Shingo, and then the winner of SANADA and Shooter is going to get the shot at Wrestle Kingdom.
So I understand what you're saying. I know where I can see the vision as to where the breadcrumbs are leading, right? But this only works. This only works if they really want to have ZSJ versus Shota Umino at Wrestle Kingdom. This only works if they get Shooter on a heel bender. If it does, there's just no way you can do this with current day Shota Umino. You can't do it this way. You just can't. It's not working at this point.
Well, all I'm gonna say is that in the end, I was right. I had the only reason I had Shota Umino winning the G1 climax is because I said he was going to challenge for the IWGP World Heavyweight Title at Wrestle Kingdom. So in the end, who was really right here, folks?
I mean, I know that's the most important thing to you. Who was right? So if that's where you want to go with, that's fine. For me, it just. Yeah, no, man. Honestly, I don't think it should be Shooter to be in the Wrestle Kingdom main event. That just it doesn't make much sense to me. Even with the heel turn, right? He hasn't earned it really necessarily. So it's like,
he earned it to me.
He hasn't earned it. I mean, unless they do some real offshoot shit where, let's say, for example, Zack wins here, right? Obviously. And then Zack goes one-on-one against Shingo. And then for whatever reason, they have Shingo get the win there, right? And they have Shingo going into Wrestle Kingdom and then freaking on some rematch shit where Zack has to, yet again, try to go after the freaking IWGP World Heavyweight Championship or whatever, and make his rounds that way. And but I just to me, it doesn't make sense for Shooter to be in the Wrestle Kingdom main event. No, not now. Right now, I'm not saying ever, just like not right now, not in his current iteration, right?
Okay. So what if the prodigal son comes back for just Wrestle Kingdom to be the challenger for Zack Sabre Jr.?
I don't think that's I don't think that's gonna happen.
You know who I'm talking about?
Right? Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think that happened.
Who am I talking about?
Well, there's two people who come to mind, right? You said the prodigal son. So I don't see Okada coming back, bro.
I just want to make sure we were on the same page. I don't know. I don't see if it's not Shooter, that's the only other option that you have, because you're I don't understand the reasoning why you didn't, like, you saw that the people were more interested in a freaking Shingo Zack matchup. That should have been your indicator that that's probably the match you should do at Wrestle Kingdom. Because we are all assuming that the Zack Sabre Jr. run will not end there. I do think that with Shooter being the challenger, there's more of a chance of Zack losing at Wrestle Kingdom, because New Japan might just be like, no, you're going to take this. You're going to take our new star, whether he's heel or face. You're going to take him, whether you boo him or cheer him. You're going to take him. You're going to respect him. He's going to be the guy. Or you got to bring in someone from the outside. And Jon Moxley is busy right now being the AEW World Champion. Bryan Danielson is going to get a neck surgery. Will Ospreay is busy in one of their top storylines with Don Callis' family in Kyle Fletcher. So the only other option that is not like legitimately all tied up in AEW storylines, because the Elite are kind of aloof in all of this. They watched everything go down with the Blackpool Combat Club, but he is still the Continental Champion, or may lose it by the end of this year in the Continental Classic. It would be Okada coming.
I understand what you're saying. For whatever reason, I just don't see it happening. The only other thing that I might see happening is if they do turn Shooter heel on some real hard left shit, where maybe he does something where he injures Shingo and he takes Shingo's spot for that particular match, right? To have Zack go up against Shooter earlier in that sense, and then we could definitely turn the Wrestle Kingdom main event on its head. I could see that happening with Gato's style booking, but like at Wrestle Kingdom I think it's it's too big of a stage for Shooter right now.
I don't think it's too big of a stage. My man's gonna have to come up.
Too big of a stage for Shooter right now, man. And plus, I also like for all intents and purposes, physically, he's still not 100%, man. Like he's been lacking something in the ring. During the G1, he's still moving not. I mean, from what I've been seeing, not so well during the Road 2 show. So it's like, I don't know if you want to put that kind of pressure on him at this point. Look, yeah, it's a sink or swim business, right? At the end of the day, but like, yeah, I can't see it. I can't see Shooter being at the Wrestle Kingdom main event. I just can't. I can't. And I know you have to have a Japanese wrestler in the Wrestle Kingdom main event for trending purposes, historical purposes, things of that nature. So I understand the mentality of having Okada there. I just think it should be somebody else, man. It really, really should.
You gotta name somebody. You're just giving us reasons why people can't do it.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man.
I gave you the best option possible that's not Shooter, and you turned it down. So you got to come up with a better replacement then. And no, it's not evil, Alex Powell.
No. Not evil. Absolutely not evil. We already got Tsuji going up against David Finlay at Wrestle Kingdom, so Tsuji is not an option. Man, Yeah. I don't know, man. It's rough. It's rough, man. It's rough. It's maybe yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Stumped you. We
It,
stumped
it,
you.
it definitely has, man. Because I didn't see. I honestly, man. I think I saw a tweet about it yesterday. One of those popular Twitter New Japan Pro Wrestling Twitter accounts and stuff like that mentioned how to or ask her followers how does everybody feel about Shooter being in the Wrestle Kingdom main event. And I was like, did they make the decision already? And I'm there like,
basically they have, because SANADA is not winning that matchup at Power Struggles because he's getting the shot here.
yeah.
So it's not going to be SANADA getting the opportunity again. It only makes sense for Shooter to win that matchup at Power Struggle to set him up as the guy that's going to come out after Zack beats Shingo.
Do you think it plausible that they can do a three-way or a triple threat match as the main event at Wrestle Kingdom?
Nah, that's not New Japan style. It's
Yes.
not New Japan style at all. But we shall see. We'll talk about it more when we review Royal Quest 4 and see how everything goes down. But we got plenty of content that we got to do as far as New Japan Pro Wrestling, a review for Royal Quest, preview for Super Junior Tag League, as we said earlier. That will be for our Patreon backers and members of the channel. We gotta do a preview for Power Struggle in a few weeks' time. That's on November 4th. And then we got a review for Power Struggle. We got preview for World Tag League. We got Fighting Spirit Unleashed. We got a Strong Style Evolved. New Japan's gonna keep us busy, J-News. So until then, let everybody know where they can follow you on social media and when they'll see you again.
You guys can definitely catch me on the socials, on the Instagram. You can catch me on X/Twitter, as you can see down there on the bottom third, as we like to call it. The first one, the _JONJY, that's my Instagram. The @JohnLYFNMG. You can catch me on the YouTube space there. I have a podcast every Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the lovely Dolores. We do our Hit the Ropes podcast. You can also catch me doing movie reviews on my YouTube channel as well. You can catch me on the Twitter /X space at the JohnLYFNMG as well. So yeah, that's where you can catch me on the socials. The next time you'll see me, as SP3 stated, we'll be doing the Royal Quest review, and then after that we'll be recording the Junior Tag League preview for our Patreon backers.
Yes, sir, indeed. You can't wait for that one. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. You can follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at TrueHillHeat. If you're going to be at Royal Quest, just hit me up on the DMs. Maybe we can meet up, take a picture. My face is a little messed up from my kids scratching the hell out of my face, but I'm still going to be available to take pictures with any fans of the channel. Patreon.com/TrueHillHeat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content. The best place to support us when we are not live here, and be on the lookout for, as we're going to do some NJPW content over there. In the meantime, between time, check out all the great content we got on the channel right now, like AE Ramble 168. You work for me now, reviewing this week's AEW Dynamite. Check out our NJPW King of Pro Wrestling 2024 review with myself, J-News, and Sanal. And stay locked here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. Check out last week's flagship podcast, True Hill Heat 298. That is on the homepage if you haven't already, because we will be live tomorrow, 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time, the True Hill Heat flagship podcast. It will be myself, joined by Scott E. Wrestling and Professor Chris, breaking down all this week in professional wrestling, including King of Pro Wrestling with ZSJ's era starting off hot, and much, much more, plus final predictions for Royal Quest as well. But for J-News, it is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. This has been our NJPW Royal Quest 4 preview. We are signing off until next time.